Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. So I'm reading for Tuesday's Storytime reading, and it's going to be for Taurus energy. So you don't have to be a Taurus for this to resonate. It's kind of like it's a collective message, so it's like what we all might be feeling, but I'm just kind of looking at the message each day through the different signs, if that makes any sense. So it may resonate, it may not, and we'll just kind of see how this story goes. So I did see a bit of a storyline definitely between the collective message on Sunday and Aries's message, and I'm not sure if you're a continuation of that or not, but we'll kind of see. So what I'm seeing is, again, it's like two energies, and it does appear to be a connection between these two energies or these two people, right? That seems to be there's a lot of emotions there. And so it could be love, right? It could be romantic, it could be friendship. But what I'm seeing is one person is very, very eager, and the other one perhaps a little bit sat in the fears or something like this. So we start with, just to kind of point out the numbers as well, there's a bit of patterning going on. So we have like 13 and 14, 17 and 18. So, and 14 comes through twice. So I don't know if that's a particularly significant number for somebody, but do pay attention to the numbers in the reading. And if anything jumps out to you, use your intuition to kind of roll with that, as to what those numbers mean to you personally, right? But yeah, so some kind of progression, some kind of forward movement, and it does feel like almost like a tidal wave coming in. So if we start with here with this riding the wave card, and this is so there's a lot of happiness here. Person one is definitely like really enjoying themselves, like quite excited, very enthusiastic. So the wave itself seems to be this energy that's kind of rolling in, and you could imagine a wave could be really, really destructive, right? But it's all in how you take it. So if a big wave was coming in and you were trying to kind of stand your ground, it could just knock you over. But if you roll with it and you surf the wave, it could be a lot of fun. So the wave, water always symbolizes emotions for me, and this feels like, so like big emotions, right? Big emotions coming through, that could be good or bad. It's like all in how you handle it. So if you see, and it could be change as well, or I don't know, something big coming towards you, but it feels like one person is kind of running with it, they're riding it, they're excited about this situation, they're excited about this maybe potential change. The reason why I'm saying change is 1 and 4 breaks down to a 5, and fives are all about changes. So big, lots of emotions, big change, a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of let's see where this goes, and just enjoying the moment on the side of one person in this situation. So you can see here as well the dolphins. Dolphins always symbolize almost like 10 of Cups energy, which is actually here. The 10 of Water card is the 10 of Cups card in this deck. Oh, I should just say as well, I'm using 6 decks in total. 5 of them are by a creator called Colette Baron Reed, so they should be quite easy to find if you just Google those. And there's a 6th one, which is the I keep forgetting the name of it. Why? The Sacred Forest by Denise Lynn. So if you're looking for any of those decks, that's Denise Lynn's deck. Then you know kind of where to look for those. And I'm doing intuitive messages as well. So rather than understanding the entire meaning of the card, I'm kind of looking at the images and seeing what story is presented by the images. So very intuitive, very story time. It's just one way of reading the cards, okay? So yeah, but I love doing this because I get such interesting stories by doing it this way. So yeah, the 2 dolphins then, symbolizing this kind of 10 of Cups energy, which is happiness, enjoyment, being, it's kind of like the happily ever after or the perfect day, and just feelings of like jubilation and excitement and happiness, and it's shared as well. There's other people involved. So the dolphin kind of represents that kind of energy to me anyway, and you've got the card here on the table. So, and it's also 2 dolphins, which is particularly symbolic because dolphins are a symbol that can be associated with the goddess Aphrodite Venus, because she was born from the ocean. And Aphrodite Venus is a goddess of love and beauty and desire and passion. So again, it doesn't have to be romantic, but it definitely could be. It could just be 2 friends who are having the best time. But again, it's like these 2 energies, like just it's like, it feels like it's got the energy of like something happening and getting really caught up with it, like really caught up in the moment. You know, your friend's excited, you kind of bounce off each other, you go out, you have fun, you, I don't know, you go out partying, or, you know, you get carried away with this project that you're really excited about, but it's like this getting swept up in it energy is the way I'm reading it, and then possibly coming down from that and being a little bit like, oh, I got carried away there. So, but in this first instance, definitely one of these energies is super enthusiastic. And then here again, you've got two creatures. So you've got this Pegasus and this eagle. And again, with this energy of like getting carried away. So it's like, so if you can kind of see how stormy and cloudy it is here, this is like almost like the wave rolling into land, like a tidal wave coming in, right? And then it like washes up even into like the forest that borders the ocean. Do you see how I mean? So it's like, but again, it's like not, it's not something that's scary. It's something that's powerful, and you know, you get swept along with it. So it's like, it's almost like the horse. And again, horses can indicate the sea. That's why they're called mares, right? M-A-R-E. It's the word for ocean in ancient not Egyptian, why did I say Egyptian? Roman. And like, yeah, so horses is also symbolic of like Poseidon, Neptune, like the god of the ocean. So horses represent ocean as well. So here it is like riding the ocean, right? Riding the wave, surfing in on whatever this excited energy is. And this second energy though seems to have maybe took a step back, or maybe where this person's very, very caught up in it, right? They're very, very just getting swept along by whatever's happening, whatever the situation is. It's like this second energy, which I am seeing possibly as you, but do flip it and reverse it if needs be, is it's like suddenly pulling back, or suddenly taking a step away from, like stepping out of the situation and gaining a different perspective, because birds tend to symbolize a higher perspective, and like seeing the situation as a whole. So where this person A continues to get swept up in it, person B is like, oh, wait a second here, how do I describe it? It's like a situation where, say you're out and you're partying with your friends, and the mood is really high, everybody's really happy, you're going, let's go and do this, let's go and do that, and everybody's like, yeah, let's go and do it, and you're just kind of going along with the moment because it's so much fun. And then, like, I don't know, you get a phone call from somebody, and you know, you kind of sober up slightly, and then you see, actually, you know, you just take a step back out of that situation, and when you return to it, or when you look at it again, you say, oh, hang on, like I was really caught up in the moment there, but now I've kind of got this, it's like my feet are back on the ground. Even though it's a bird, it's like my feet are back on the ground. And it could be to do with something legal, right? Because eagles are legal, right? Legal eagles. So it's like this moment of, you know, like your mates are pushing each other around in shopping trolleys and racing each other, and you're like, hang on, is this legal? Are we about to get arrested? It could be something like that, but not necessarily. It could also be something associated with like the rules, because we do have this kind of like Hierophant energy coming over here, which I'll kind of talk about when we get to it, which is your card. So again, it's like awareness of the structures, awareness of the authorities, awareness of the rules, and just kind of taking a step back and checking in with, are we still, I don't know, it's just that self-awareness of like, oh my goodness, I really got swept away in that for a moment. Yeah, so these two energies, but your friend's kind of still swept up in it, right? So then, with this wave coming in, it's like, and it comes into kind of land. Yeah, what do I want to talk about next? Overcome any obstacles. So you have this rhino spirit here. Now, I would say that this is typical Taurus energy, but it doesn't have to be. It could be the other person, right? But I feel like, and it could be both of you as well. I'm kind of almost seeing it as, it's like the wave itself is the obstacle in some sort of way, or it's the energy that's, I want to say it's the energy that's carrying you forward into potentially some kind of rules or legal issue that could be standing in your path, right? It's like the waves rolling in, and you just want to kind of keep on rolling on that because it feels so good, because the Ten of Cups says this feels great. But then there's like a structure or an obstacle, and you're like, how are we going to get past this? How are we going to get around this? And the advice is overcome it, right? You will get through it. You will power through this. You have enough emotional power, like this wave that is actually you're harnessing, or your other person is harnessing, right? Is going to push you through this. There's a lot of power to whatever this emotional wave is that's coming in. So it's almost like it's like if you imagine the wave, like the water itself is like a wall. It's like peeking through it, right? It's like just coming out of the water, coming out of the waves, like showing its face, which is interesting because again, you've got like 5 5, so again changes. 5 and 5 makes 10. You've got 2 10s. There's a lot of stuff with the numbers. Maybe somebody works with numbers in some sort of way. But it's like 10s are like completion. So 5 is a change, 10 is completion. And it's like you're powering through whatever this is very excitedly and very actually caught up in the happiness of whatever's happening, which is the right way to handle change, right? Instead of being like looking at all the stuff that you're going to lose or the situations that are no longer going to be part of your life and mourning that in a very Cancerian energy, this is more like, I can't wait to see what the future holds, and I can't wait to take my friends with me, and I can't wait to do this together. It's feels really good, right? I can't wait to meet new people, all that kind of stuff. So powering through with this kind of like, and the rhino, right, it is like a bull animal. So again, I am associating it with Taurus. It's like I've got my mind, they're giving me, no, I don't know what they're giving me. It's like I've got my mind on you. Like I've got my mind set on you. I've got my mind set on you. There you go. I got it. I was like, what are they saying? I got like 3 songs all at once. And I was like, what are they giving me? I got my mind set on you. I got my mind set on you. Yeah. So, but it's going to take money. Sorry, they're still giving me a whole lot of money. Maybe you need some money. I don't know. I'm not seeing that in the reading, but it could be for somebody. So, like, yeah, maybe like getting a new project off the ground and you're like, I'm so excited for this, but we're going to have to raise some funds for it. So the bull, very Taurus energy, very focused and fixed on the goals. It's like, this is the plan. This is what I'm doing. I'm just going to power through any obstacle, right? Like it's very, I'm not changing my route on this. I've mapped my course. I've mapped my path. This is the way we're going, and we're just going to push through anything that stands in our way. So it can be a little bit aggressive. It can be a little bit stubborn. Watch out for that. But I want to say, because it's being driven by this pure like enjoyment and passion and fun, I want to say it's generally quite positive, but do just have that self-awareness. So the wave rushing in, right, rushing into land, and it's like I'm also kind of seeing this as you as well. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because, again, Taurus is like that bull energy, so I see it as very solid and fixed and kind of sturdy, and you've got this kind of like statue who's just, I love this card so much. He's just like so happy. He's just having so much fun. He's just sat there. All this waves come in, right? It's crashed on land, and it's just like flowing all around him. He's like just sat in this water, and it's not affecting him. He's not upset by it. He's just laughing at the situation. So it could be that kind of situation where, I don't know, something happens. Like, I don't want to kind of put a curse on anyone here. I'm not going to like speak anything into existence because I've had enough plumbing issues myself. But it's like something happens, and instead of getting angry about it or instead of getting upset about it, you see the funny side of the situation, and you're like, it's going to get fixed. There's no, it's not going to do any good if I'm crying about it. Let's just laugh about it, right? So, and then like, it's just like this, he just, whatever the person A, whatever is happening with that wave, person A is loving it, absolutely loving it. It's like, this is the best. So then with the wave crashing in, like crashing into land, it's like this is one of the structures in that forest. And this is like the interior of it. So it could actually also be talking about somebody's like heart, just because I'm seeing this as almost like ventricles, like somebody's heart who had been very frozen. Like if you've had a bit of a bad time of it and you shut your heart down a little bit, you kind of become a bit ice queen, a little bit guarded, a little bit... It could be somebody around you. It could be you who's a little bit isolated, perhaps, or a little bit down, or a little bit flat, and finding it hard to feel those happy emotions. But it's almost like, well, because this unstoppable tidal wave is coming in and it hits land, and it's like, it's not, I want to say it's not destructive, because you can see here as well, it's like there could be a lot of fear over it, but it essentially in its core it's not destructive. So you can see here, like the clouds I'm seeing as like the water, and all these trees are still standing, they're not getting knocked down by whatever this is. So it's not a destructive force, it's a happy force, right? It's excitement, enthusiasm, things like that. So it's like, this is the interior of the house, and then because it has these like windows and doors, right, and tunnels, it's like the water, and it's been frozen, right, it's like the water rushes in like into all these spaces, and it's like the ice melts and things start to flow again, is the way I'm seeing it. So it's so beautiful. So look here as well, it's like the tidal waves pass through, right? It's like that big wave went through, and like the water's kind of like settling back down again. Can you see? It's like almost like these two energies are the same energy. So it's represented here as like a statue, and here it's represented by a house. It could just be the land itself, right? The wave comes through, and it kind of carries on rolling, it carries on going, but what's left behind is like the water like flooded all these cavities, right? And again, it could be talking about emotions, right? The water symbolizes emotions. The cavities and the structure represents maybe your physical body or your heart space. It's like a big emotional impact, and as it carries on going, it's like it continues to run, it continues to, it's like it's all pouring out, right? In a good way. It's like it really filled this space. So I just really like this reading. Yeah, so it's like everything's flowing now. But again, it's like, because this is overflow, like too much and overwhelm and plenty, which is funny because in the reading for Aries, I didn't really pay attention to plenty. I just kind of was looking at overflow and overwhelm, which is what I was picking up on intuitively for them. And then it's like now this idea of plenty is coming into play, and you actually have it twice because you have it here as well. So it's like when it first comes in, whatever this exciting, happy wave is for you, it's overwhelming, right? It's like, especially if you've been a little bit like set in your ways or closed down, or you know, you've had a lack of emotion, perhaps you've been doing, perhaps, and I'm not saying that you're emotionless or heartless, right, but it's like maybe you've been, and it could be you and it could be your person as well, so flip it and reverse it as needs be. But somebody is like, maybe they've just been like very work orientated, or you know, they've had a lot of responsibilities, you know, when like kind of life takes over and you're in that kind of doing mode, and you don't have much time to kind of like stop and kind of smell the roses. I'm hearing like you don't have time to stop and smell the roses and kind of you know, actually sit there and think, oh, hang on, I actually really like this, I really like this place, or you know, actually I'm really happy here in this situation, or you know, and maybe you're not happy, right? Again, it depends on who you are, because I'm picking up on two energies, and like one person's like super happy, one person's kind of a little bit more with the eagle. It's like one person is a little bit more like thinks of the bigger picture and thinks about the rules and things like that. It's like one person's just caught up in it and excited, one person's a bit more mature perhaps. So yeah, it's like somebody who's kind of, because this is all kind of talking to me about like time, it's like very busy, not having much time, and then suddenly feeling everything all at once, right? And it could be the case of like bottling something up, bottling up your feelings for somebody, or bottling up, there's been a lot of stuff about grief, right? So, you know, if sometimes when somebody passes away, there's so much that you have to do in terms of like paperwork, calling people, arranging stuff, and it's like you don't have time to just sit and feel whatever you're feeling. So it's almost like, but it comes in, but I want to say it's very, very positive with this Ten of Cups here, right? So it's like, even if it's grief, it's like that kind of like bittersweet nostalgia grief, where it's like, I'm so thankful that I had that person in my life, and remembering all happy memories and remembering the good times. So however it comes through for you, is like going from whoever this is as well, it could be you, it could be somebody else, like going through that frozen, like not feeling things stage, to oh my goodness, now I'm feeling everything all at once, and probably crying as well. So, and it's also talking to me about possibly coming up against some sort of structure, because the curse card, when I explain what it is, it's giving me Hierophant energy, and you are the Hierophant card in the tarot, Taurus, and this card here today in your reading is giving me Tower energy, but it's not the Tower from tarot, if you're familiar with that. It's the Tower from the Lenormand deck, and that, so these two cards together, especially with this kind of like statue of a Buddha, and the eagle being like legalities. So this mix of like legalities and Hierophant energy, which symbolizes structure and order, and the Tower from the Lenormand, which is like an institution, a government, a place. So it's like this emotional, very happy, driven, excited possible group of people coming into contact with something that's very fixed and firm and immovable, right? It's like, this is immovable, this is the law, this is the way it is. But almost like, because you've got to overcome any obstacle, it's like coming up against it and just like, because of the power of that happiness and excitement and enthusiasm, it's like completely overwhelming it in a way where it's not destructive, right? So it's not like tearing down the government building or anything like that. It's just like, it's like, oh, they're showing me like okay, it's a very specific example. It's not going to be for everybody, but I think they're just giving me like a way to explain it. So what I'm seeing in my head is like, it's like a big group of, say, like college kids, like sort of 18 to 21-ish year olds. And I want to say it's like pride, because it's like, I've seen, they're very colourful, they're wearing like coloured wristbands and like, you know, stuff in the hair, and they've got like flags. So it's like this big colourful group of happy youthful energy, and it's like they're running, right, and they're running through the streets and they're having fun and they're excited and they're just like living their best life, and just like the happiness of it, like this 10 of Cups energy of it is just, oh. And it's like, maybe they run towards a government building, and I'm not saying anyone should do this, right? It's just the example that they're giving me to kind of explain what I'm seeing in the cards. It's like, maybe they run up to a government building because maybe they disagree with some of the legislation, and they're not there to do any harm. They're not there to graffiti things or break things. They're just there to, it's like that building's just in their path. It's just like they run through the streets and it's just there. And then they think excitedly, right, because they're caught up in the moment, and we're going to run through that building. And maybe there's like a guard on the door, you know, or a police officer there, or a government official, kind of these characters that they might run into, which is kind of almost this Hierophant energy. But they're not there to do any harm, right? Like the excitement, the happiness, the fun, the positivity of it is clear to see. So it's like they just run past them, right? Because it's a big group, so they just run past those people, and those people maybe are like laughing because it's such a happy moment. It's like watching kids playing, right? And these kids just, because it's overwhelming, right, it's like there's no stopping it. There's no stopping it. The government structure is like unprepared for this thing to happen, and they're not doing harm. So it's like it's like the kids just run through that building, right? They just run through it. They run through the halls and out the other side, and they carry on, right? And it's just, no harm is done. It's just this mob of, mob's kind of the wrong word, but this group of, this bundle of energy, this bundle of colourful, happy, like enjoyment energy that just passes through, right? But it's like they leave some of that emotion behind. They leave behind some of the excited feelings and the happiness and the it's because it's like even the guards smiling, right? Even the guards laughing. And then it's like it's still trickling. So even though the wave is gone, like the group has left, it's like everybody in that building's talking about it. They're all laughing. They're all feeling something. And then it continues. So then, right, so I really like that metaphor. I love it when they show me like nice things like that. So, and then again, it's because of love. So the two energies, because it could be a group, Ten of Water is like a group, but I'm specifically seeing two specific people within that group. And it could actually be, instead of two individuals, it could be the group itself, the happy wave, and the second energy, which is more like this government official, or this, you know, the group of people who make the laws, you know, or whatever it is. Do you see what I mean? It's like two energies, and it could be two people, it could be two groups. But it's like the love, right? So it's like all this emotion, it's just happiness and love. And it does indicate some kind of choice that needs to be made. The love card is the lover's card. The lover's card was originally called choice. And it talks about when you make decisions, you should be making decisions based on what your heart is telling you, your emotional truth. And I kind of talked about this, I think in Aries' reading, it could have been Sunday's reading, I'm not quite sure now, about how do you spot the false prophets, right? And it's like, because your heart will tell you that it's not right. Your heart will tell you, you know, whatever that creator energy is, and it's some, you know, we all identify it differently, but that source energy, that creator energy speaks to us through our heart space, through our Jiminy Cricket sense of what's right and what's wrong, right? We instinctively know, we instinctively feel as a society, as a group of human beings with compassion and love, what's right and what's wrong. So it does talk about choosing from the heart space, and it's such a lovely, beautiful image of this lion and this girl. It's like they're just at rest, right? They're peaceful, they're at rest, they're happy. I was kind of getting Aslan, you know, from Narnia, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. If you know, it was so traumatic for me as a kid. I used to have like an audio tape on it, and that bit was just, because I love lions as well. They're like one of my favourite animals, and Aslan's such a gorgeous character that I was just absolutely distraught the moment that I'm indicating, which if you know that, I don't, again, go on, you know the story or you don't, but if you know, like, oh my goodness. And then obviously like the lion as well, you know, Aslan, he's a metaphor for another great famous character from you know, traditional storytelling. So it could be something like that for somebody. But then it's this curse card, right? 14 as well, change. So the way that I was reading it originally when I first saw the cards was like this second energy, right? This Hierophant-like energy, or this person who is part of the Hierophant energy, so part of the government structure or part of some kind of traditional background or traditional belief system or traditional culture, right? It's like whatever values this person has been surrounded by, or these people have been surrounded by, the kind of Hierophant energy, person two. It's like they feel like, right? They feel how good this water is, right? Whatever the water symbolizes. They feel the love, they feel the happiness, they know it in their heart that this is a good thing, it's not destructive. And yet, because the curse card talks about inherited energy, sort of like family curses, right? So it's not literally a curse. It's not like anyone's been cursed here. It's more like, you know, the inherited belief systems that we have from our ancestors, or the inherited patterns of behavior that, you know, perhaps our parents acted out and then we act those out as well. Or it can even talk about your DNA and kind of like inherited things going on with your body, right? So it does have that kind of Hierophant energy of like parents, ancestors, traditions, things that have been handed down to you. So somebody, because of their inherited belief system, or, you know, the inherited set of rules that they have been raised in, or because I think there's a difference. It's like there's some kind of contradiction happening for somebody where you know, in their heart that they know that this is good, in their heart they know that this is just happiness and love and all these positive things, right? There's no harm in the wave. And yet they perhaps have been told that the wave is wrong. The wave is not the way to behave. The wave is something that needs to be stopped, right? Because of the old-fashioned way of thinking. So on one level, because of the belief system, it's like this is wrong, but in their feelings, they're like, this is so right. So it's almost like this choice that has to be made, it's like choosing which is right and choosing which is wrong. And it's my feeling is like neither is right or wrong. It's more that each has to make room for the other in some sort of way. But it's like this energy, that the second energy, the resistance energy, right, is coming through with this idea that love is a curse, like feelings are something to be fought against, or it's like something that needs to be denied. Like, it's like this person has a hunger for this, because we have Feast of Plenty in this card. So there's this talk about hunger. It's like, I have a hunger for this happy energy. I have a hunger for actually experiencing and feeling and sharing love with people. I want this. I'm hungry for it. And yet, because you can see it's like a hand over the mouth. It's like denying themselves this, or being denied this, because it's not spoken about, or it's not something that you should, it's like, it's not something you should eat. It's not something that, it's not a lust that you should satisfy, right? It's something that is being denied. And so there, it does feel like a curse, because it's like, well, why do I want this thing? Why do I have a hunger for this when it's something that I must restrain myself from? And it's because everybody should have love and happiness, and it's not something that should be denied anyone, right? So it's like this person's having this almost like war in their mind of feeling these things and figuring it out. And I want to say it's because of perhaps their religion, or things that they were taught from their parents or their family. It could be like they were raised in a very stoic household, emotions are for the weak, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's like, and I want to say as well, because do you remember here, it's like they've been denied this. Like the heart is frozen, because of this denial, because of this lack, because of this empty space that should be filled with like light and laughter and fun and happiness and love and all these wonderful things. But it's like, because they've been denied it for so long, when they do feel it, it's overwhelming, right? It's not like it. So the advice is, and I want to say this is to the energy, the person, the group that is being represented as really enjoying it, really, really knowing what it feels like to have love and happiness and friends, and being part of that group that's symbolized by the 10 of Cups of, I have this, I have love, I know how to express love, I know how to accept love, I know how to share love, I know how to share happiness, I know how to get caught up in the moment because it feels so good. It's like they have it, it comes from them with like an overabundance of it, right? They've got so much to give. They overflow with it, they are part of it, it's who they are. So it could be talking about a water sign, possibly. Doesn't have to be. Or maybe again it could be you or Libra, because that kind of Venus energy. And this is coming through quite, I'd say, like Taurus, Scorpio, Capricorn is kind of the energy that I'm getting off this second energy, because it's all those signs that are to do with like rules, and because Scorpio kind of sets their own rules, but they're also associated with religion. Taurus is like the Hierophant energy. Capricorn again has that energy of like more like 10 of Pentacles, where this is 10 of Cups, it's like the emotion side. Capricorn's more like 10 of Pentacles in terms of what role do I play, how do we make money, how am I good at my job. So it's like Capricorn's more like the rule book energy, like they're more to do with like the structure, and especially ancestry and inherited karma and things like that. It's very Cappy. So those three signs I'm kind of picking up on here. But it could be any sign, right? It's just energy at the end of the day, and we're all affected by all the different energies at some point. So yeah, the emotional wave, the happy, I'm just swimming in this love energy person or people are being told to bring a gentle touch. I think both sides are being told to bring a gentle touch here, because it's like, again, it's what they're doing is very overwhelming, and this person, they don't know how to handle it because they've been denied it for so long. So to have an overflow of it is they just don't know how to handle it. So it's like, do it gently, do it softly, you know, bring it to them, but bring it to them in a way that doesn't overwhelm them. So gently, right? To the person who's symbolized more by the, and it's like, again, it's like, I feel like this is them as well. It's like they're, you know, when they're in it, they're happy. You know, when they're caught up in it, they're enjoying it just as much as everybody else is. But it's only when they take that step back and remember the rules, right, that they start to doubt themselves, and then maybe they start to like even like, you know, like curse themselves in terms of like, I shouldn't have done that, you know, I should deny myself these things. It's like their own self-denial is the curse. Does that make any sense? Because they feel it just like everybody else does, because everybody does. So that second person, then the person associated with the kind of the government or the rules or the institutions or the inherited belief system, again, it's like, bring a gentle touch. You don't want to, because there's no harm in the first energy. Like it's only positive, good energy, and so you don't want to. You know, you want to be gentle. You want this clash to be something that has a positive outcome, right? And it's like, because, you know, if it was riot police, you know, if it was riot police like lining up on the steps, and, you know, they, you know, perhaps had to beat back that energy that only has good intentions, you know, that could go horribly wrong for both sides. Where the way that I'm seeing it is like that one guard who kind of gets overwhelmed, but he's laughing because, you know, these kids are just having fun. They're just, you know, they don't mean any harm. They're just having fun, and they're so excited. And it's like that happiness is contagious, right? Like even the guard is laughing, and then even though that energy's passed through, it's like the place itself is still smiling, is still laughing and talking about what just happened, you know. And it's like, so because the tower, because the government, because the institutional energy sees the funny side of it, they see the good intentions, like they're gentle, it's like it's a good outcome for everyone. So then, and it's like as well, like here, you know, the girl is being gentle with the lion. Like the lion is the king, right? You know, it does embody this kind of hierophant energy a little bit as like the leader. And it could be very destructive. It could eat the woman, right? But it's like, because the woman is approaching it with deer energy, it, like, you know, with love, with compassion, with like nurturing energy, because I'm thinking like the woman who pulls the thorn from the lion's foot, is like he likes it, you know, and he's like, I could eat you, but I kind of like it when you stroke my mane. I kind of like it when you keep me company. I kind of like it when you scratch my back, and you know, you pull the thorns out of my paw. It's like, oh, hang on, maybe you're not so bad after all, you know, because she's gentle. So again, like it's advice for both. Right, so to kind of complete this reading, so then we go into this embrace the in-between energy, which again talks about a choice. So you've got a choice here and a choice here, and this card actually means choice as well. So it's like this contradiction between the government, the tradition, the fixed energy, and this flowing, happy love energy that's just only has good intentions, right? So it's like, it's almost like thinking that you have to choose between them. Like, do I choose this or do I choose that? And like, how do I choose? And so it's like, embrace the indecision, right? Embrace the ghost lands, embrace the decision point. Like, it's okay to be here. It's okay to sit in indecision. It's okay to take things slowly, or to accept parts of both, right? Like, I accept parts of my my upbringing, my culture. I accept parts of it are good and true. I accept that this energy is also good and true, and I accept that there's contradictions between them, and that's okay. It's okay for two energies to both be good and both oppose each other at the same time. Like, it's okay to have some kind of middle ground or grey area. I don't have to make a choice. I don't have to make a decision right now. Yes, Tommy, I know. So again, this Feast of Plenty card, it does talk about the need to make a choice, the need to make a decision. And it's talking about, so it says choices and their consequences. So it does talk about karma. I do feel like this is to do with like Saturn going retrograde. So it's like, okay, you had a great day, you had a great time, you overindulged in something, perhaps overflown plenty, you drank too much. The consequence is you're going to have a hangover, and maybe you did a few things that you're going to regret. Maybe you got a fine, maybe you got home late and got told off by your mum and dad, right? But it's like, okay, so you indulged in that thing, you had a great time, but you do have to take ownership of the choices that you made. For others of you, it's like, okay, so you denied this to yourself, you didn't have this thing. Where has that got you? Are you happy that you chose to deny yourself? Are you comfortable with your hunger? Or do you want to attend the feast? So it's like, this card talks about not only facing the consequences of your decisions, you know, living with the choices that you've made, but it also says these choice points, they come back around, right? And it may not be the exact same choice, but you could have different situations where a similar choice is presented to you. Are you going to continue to deny yourself? Are you going to continue to be hungry? Or are you going to taste of the forbidden fruit, right? And it's like, this talks about, look at the choices you've made in the past and where has that got you? Are you happy with the choices that you've made, or do you want to try making a different choice and seeing where that leads you? So it's up to the individual watching this you know, what choice you're going to make. And again, it's like the advice with the flamingo seems to be embrace the middle ground, accept that both needs are true, right? The need to indulge and the need to, it's so funny because Taurus, you can be a sign of overindulgence because you're an earth sign, which talks about things like food, right? And like material things as well, so like stuff, right? And then Venus is an energy of luxury and like tasting and feeling. So it could be like you ate too much because the food was just so pleasurable to you, or you bought too much because you just couldn't resist the feeling of like buying all that stuff. So you are, Taurus, you can be a sign of overindulgence, so be aware of that. Have you overindulged, or have you been too strict about denying yourself something? Is there a way to have a little bit of what you like to satisfy that hunger without overdoing it? And again, it's all dependent on your own personal situation, the choices that you've made so far, and whether or not you want to choose to repeat cycles because you're happy with that, or you want to have a change and you want to try something new. And again, we have a lot of change happening in the numbers, in the numerology. So yeah, that's it really. But it's like, it almost feels like a little bit like rock and a hard place. Like no matter which one I choose, there's going to be consequences. So can you live with those consequences, or, you know, is this something that you do have to continue to deny yourself? I want to say that there is some kind of middle ground approach, right, where it's not necessarily going to be as overwhelming, where you can kind of, instead of turning the tap on full blast, you can turn it on like a trickle, you know, and allow it in a way that's not so dramatic, right? All right, I hope this reading was really helpful to somebody. Oh, I haven't talked about your songs. So if any of these resonate with you, I asked for a song to explain the curse, and you got Pure by Cigarettes After Sex. And it's got some beautiful lyrics because it says, when it's pure, only your love could get me to fall. When it's deep, it gets so hot and it's so beautiful. Like, it's just such a gorgeous song. It's a bit kinky if you do go and look up the lyrics, so fair warning. But this idea of like, when it's pure, only your love could get me to fall. So it could even be somebody who's part of some kind of government structure, or some kind of like a place with authority, right? A place with rules, a place with legalities, who wants to feel the love and who wants to feel the emotion because it is so pure, right? And it's like, I know that if I choose this love, it's going to bring about my downfall, because perhaps as my position doesn't allow me to partake in those feelings, you know. It's like, maybe this is, you know, it's something with a big red cross across it. You know, it could be, right, and I'm not saying that this should be something that happens, but say like you were a professor, right? You're a professor, and I'm saying you, but it could be you or them, or just general Taurus situations that are playing out. But the Hierophant could be like higher institution, like university, right? A government building perhaps, or an education establishment. So somebody could be like a professor, and they've fallen in love with like one of their adult students, and it's like, well, I can't, it feels really good, like I love being around this person, I actually think I'm falling in love with them, you know, their energy, when they show me that love and affection back, it's overwhelming to me, and yet I can't, it would risk my reputation, it would risk my standing, it would risk my tenure if I was to have a relationship with this person. It's against the rules, right? Or it's frowned upon. So it's like, but I've been denying myself that, and I've been aching for it, and I'm hungry for it. So what am I going to do in this situation, right? So it's like, how do I change the rules? How do I circle around the rules? Because you do have like overcome every obstacle. So it's like, how do we do this in a way where I'm not going to fall, right? But I still get to satisfy that very human need for feeling like you're part of something emotional. Because again, like 10 of Pentacles is like part of something financial, physically, like your job, right? Like being part of a university. But the 10 of Cups is part of feeling like you fit in, feeling like you're accepted, feeling like you are valued, like feeling like there's love between you and other people. And it doesn't have to be romantic, it can be friendship, like platonic love, but like feeling like you belong in more than just a financial or skill-based way, right? Emotionally feeling like you belong with those people. So it's like it's a human need to have both. So how do you have both? And what else do we have? All I Want to Do. So Feast of Plenty was clarified by Dannii Minogue, All I Want to Do. And that song is All I Want to Do Is Touch You. And if you watch the video, it's like people over the internet like touching the screen. So it could be somebody at long distance. It could be somebody you on an online course with, something like that. But it's like, all I want to do is touch you. I just want to, you know, I just want to satisfy that human need. So I don't know. I was also channeling Love is Pain by Finneas, and a line that goes, I won't cry for all the hunger in your heart, which is Call the Shots by Girls Aloud, which was coming up a lot, maybe like 2 weeks ago. It kept on coming through for different readings. And then this Rhino Spirit was also giving me, I don't know why, because there's not really anything about music, but it's like something to do with the activation. And I was channeling, I've been hearing symphonies when, before there was silence. By Zara Larsson, Symphonies by Zara Larsson. So it's like, you know, here's the silence because it's ghost lands, right? And this person's being silenced. They've got a hand over the mouth. So it's like ghosting someone, right? So it's like, or feeling that sense of disconnect. So there was silence before, but now I'm hearing symphonies. Now I'm feeling the love. Now there's an overflow of it. So yeah, do check out the description box below, because when I'm uploading this reading, I'm going to randomize a couple more songs for you, and there could be something in that for you that gives you a bit of an epiphany or gives you some advice or guidance in some sort of way. My tummy's rumbling, I've not had breakfast yet. So yeah, roll with that. See where that takes you, and I hope that this reading was helpful to you. Of course, I would love it if you left me a like if you liked it. If you feel like sharing and you want to pop something in that comment box, I read all the comments. I don't always respond, but I always read them, and yeah, it's really interesting to me to see exactly how the readings are hitting people. So like how people are interpreting them. So if you do have that urge to leave a comment, please roll with that, because it's really helpful to me. I leave comments on other people's readings, and sometimes I'll think I sound mental. Like I read my comment back and I'm like, I sound bonkers, but it's like something hits me and resonates with me, and it's like it brings out that thing that I was thinking, and it's like it's it's so mad that this person's speaking my crazy thoughts, and it's like I want to tell them that they're right. I want to give them that encouragement. So if you do want to leave me a comment, that's great, but of course if you don't want to, that's fine as well. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet and you want to, it's free to do. You only have to hit that subscribe button once, and that's it, you're subscribed, and it really helps me out. So thank you so much to everybody who's already subscribed and has been consistently supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Stealth watchers, watching the whole video really actually helps to top up the hours watched, which again is helpful and beneficial to me, so thank you so much. You know, even if that's just by accident, it's so helpful to me, so thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. And of course, everybody do take care, and if you want to kind of keep watching all the readings, even though you're not those signs, I do feel like we've got a bit of an ongoing story. It does feel a little bit collective, this energy. So if you just want a story time, if you want to put something on to fall asleep to, you know, I won't be offended if you want to do that. All right, do take care, and I will see you again soon. Bye, friends.